Good morning and welcome back to Northman Coaching's Seven Deadly Sins. I'm your host, Gary Holtz. Let me ask you something. How much is enough? How much money? How much attention? How much success? How much recognition? At what point do you finally look at your life and say, I have enough? Today's scripture comes from Proverbs 28, verse 25. The greedy stir up conflict, but those who trust in the Lord will prosper. We hear the word greed and immediately think about some rich asshole sitting on a pile of money. That's easy because then greed belongs to somebody else. But greed isn't about how much you have. It's about your relationship with more. More money, more shit, more status, more attention, more followers, more women, more validation, more, fucking more. And somehow it's never enough. That's greed. You get the raise you prayed for, and 3 months later, you're complaining about your paycheck again. You buy the house you wanted and you start looking at the bigger one down the street. You finally get into a good relationship and start wondering if there's somebody better. You reach the goal, and instead of appreciating what you've accomplished, you immediately move the fucking finish line. That's a miserable way to live because when enough is always somewhere in the future, you'll spend your entire life feeling poor, no matter how much you have. And Proverbs connects greed with something interesting: conflict. Why? Because when I believe that I need more, eventually somebody is standing between me and what I want. Now, your coworker becomes competition. Your friend becomes competition. Your brother becomes competition. Hell, sometimes your own family becomes an inconvenience because greed eventually asks, what can I get from you instead of what can I give? And look at this second half of the verse. Those who trust in the Lord will prosper. That's the real battle. Greed versus trust. Greed says, I need more before I'm okay. Trust says, God has already given me something to be responsible for: your money, your family, your body, your relationships, your talent, and your time. Maybe instead of asking God for more, you should ask yourself what the fuck you've done with what he's already given you. Because maybe you don't need another blessing. Maybe you need to become better steward of the blessings you already have. There's nothing wrong with ambition. There's nothing wrong with building wealth. There's nothing wrong with wanting a better life. But there's a massive difference between building something and needing something to finally make you feel valuable. So ask yourself, what am I chasing right now? And then ask the harder question. If I actually get it, will it finally be enough? Because if the answer is no, the problem isn't what you don't have. The problem is what's happening inside of you. Remember, the way you look on the outside is a direct reflection of what's happening on the inside. So stop counting everything that you do not have and take a good fucking look at everything you've already been trusted with. How much is enough? Maybe the answer starts with gratitude. Stand firm, walk humbly, and build the man who leads the legacy. Till then, I will see you next Tuesday.